tough year. Like, it took us like 5 days to even find a group. We finally find a group. We stalk in, and I'm like, we know we're close to the group, but we still can't see one, you know, because we're both on the ground together, so we don't know where they are. I'm walking on like this. It's like an old like railroad or road, and then it's washed out. So it's like this, and then it's like a big ravine, and then it comes up like this. And as I'm walking, I see like just the very top of a javelina feeding broadside in that like tall yellow grass. So I knew his head was on this side. I could see him, so I draw back, shoot, and he ran away, and then like nothing happened. Just literally one javelina ran and nothing else happened. So I go over there, check, blood just perfectly soaked arrow. Yeah. It was 40 yards. It was one of the longer shots I made on javelina, but it was so cool shooting across that canyon. But anyways, we get over there, and I like check my arrow, and then there's like a drop to my left. So I look over, and there's like a whole bunch of them feeding. So I duck, and I like call my dad down. Somehow they didn't spook when I shot the one because he was kind of separate. So it was perfect. So my dad, he sneaks down the hill to me. So he sneaks down. He gets to where I'm at, and then literally right where he just walked, like 3 javelina ran out. Like he was probably within like a foot of them, and we didn't even see them. They were right next to us. So it was like pretty open. Yeah, it was crazy. They must have just been in a bush or something. You can't see them. And he ended up getting one too. But man, it just goes to show, like, he literally walked right past one, and I was like right next to him the whole time. Sure, yeah. No clue they were there. Yeah. They just can hide insanely well.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
You know?
I was like when we were out right before when Ted and Chris were out, and Ted was, I think Ted Tag was the only one that was left.
Yeah.
And they were out, and we got on. So remember, they just crossed the road. So we're like, shoot, we got to stay on these things. So we're on them, but then they're like cutting through bushes and trees, and we're like, where'd they go? Like, we literally just lost them like that.
Yeah,
like they were gone.
So
and they weren't,
quick.
it's not like they were like running fast. They were just kind of,
that was crazy too, because as long as I've hunted javelina, like we don't road hunt, we just use cars as transportation, and I have never seen one on the road. Like, it's so rare to see them driving. Yeah. So we saw those ones midday driving, and I was like, no way. Like, I finally saw one, and then boom, they're gone like that.
For sure, yeah.
It's crazy.
Another good story too, when we were out deer hunting in Arizona this last year, completely different spot. So we set up on a water hole camera, and we're like, dude, there's got to be deer coming in here. There has to be.
Because it was dry too and hot.
Yeah, for sure. And we got like 5 or 6 javelina on camera, and one of them came up to the camera and literally just like started following it. So when we show up, the camera's all sideways and stuff like that, and you just see a snout in one of the pictures.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're cool. They're cool little animals.
They're awesome. I think it is the best animal to bow hunt when you're new. I don't think anything is.
Or even if you're not new, if you just
it's just a blast. I've shot probably. I've been hunting them since like 04, 05. So I've been hunting them a long time. I think it was my 21st year hunting them consecutively. Yeah. And I think I've probably shot like 16 of them, 16, 17 with a bow. And I'm still like, I want to shoot about 50 more in my lifetime. Sure, yeah. Like, they're awesome,
they're cool, yeah. And they're tough.
They're tough.
They're crazy tough.
And they make you a better hunter. Any animal will, but javelina certainly will make you a better glasser.
For sure,
they're hard to see.
Yeah, and, stalking wise, you got to get up close and personal because it's not like you have a huge target.
Yeah, I mean, the vitals are maybe that big, so you got to get right in on them. When we were hunting in September, obviously, I guess it was like a couple days of August and then early September. Yeah. Obviously, we're in Arizona, we're in the desert, we're going to bump into rattlesnakes, and we saw a fair amount. I don't know how many, maybe 6, something, maybe more, because we saw quite a few at night and during the day. I personally don't have that big of a problem with rattlesnakes. No. I just understand that if I stay away from them, like, things will probably be okay. At first, you were a little nervous about snakes, and I know now you're not really. Yeah. What made you on that trip kind of go from being scared of the snakes to like not really minding too much?
For sure, yeah. So I think a lot of people's biggest worry is getting bit by a rattlesnake. You're out in the middle of nowhere. People die from rattlesnake bites, course, so it is something that, I don't know, I was pretty worried about at first, like, like, what if I'm on a stalk and, like, you know, I'm crawling down here or whatever, and then like there's a rattlesnake right there, like well, we're just gonna peel out. But like that's just stuff that goes through your head. Which when I was on a stock, when I was on stocks, I didn't see one rattlesnake.
Yeah.
I didn't, you know, when I went to like go blast a different area, I stumbled upon one, and you know, it coiled up pretty quick and just let me know, hey, I'm here.
Yeah.
And you know,
You just go around them.
for sure, yeah.
You know?
But at first, I was just like, oh damn, like that happened pretty quick.
Yeah.
But I kind of learned it's like anything. If you just leave it, same with like bees. People are
Yeah.
so afraid of bees. It's like if I see a bee, like I've had bees on my hand before. I'm sitting there looking at them like, oh, kind of cool.
Yeah,
Little
as long
creatures,
as you
you know?
don't bother them.
If you leave them alone,
Yeah.
they're probably gonna leave you alone.
I remember. So one day, this was early on the trip. We were driving the Subaru back to our tent, and literally like 10 yards from the tent, as we're pulling in, there's like a 4-foot rattlesnake going across the road. So I told Nick, I thought of it ahead of time, but I said, every day when we come back to camp, we got to do a snake check and go around, shake the tent, make sure there's not a snake under the tent or anything like that. So basically, that was what we did for safety. Every time we got back to camp, just check thoroughly, make sure there's no snakes that are going to pop us, because it's dark when we got back. So get out the lights.
Yeah.
And it worked. I mean, we were comfortable. Okay, there's no snakes here. We're good to go.
Yeah.
Now, I remember. I don't know if you remember this, but we were packing my deer out. And we start walking down that wash, and there's boom, rattlesnake coming right up the wash towards us. And it was narrow, so we didn't really have anywhere to go.
We had to wait for them to cross.
So we just kind of stood out of the way, let them cross, and then, it was obvious. It almost like, I felt like the snake and us wanted the same thing. He was kind of like, okay, let me get out the way type thing so you guys can go.
Yeah.
Neither of us bothered each other. It was like we just let him move, and we went on, and he went his way.
Pedestrian crossing.
Exactly. Yeah. Now, if you do get bit, worst case scenario, I mean, like, I think the best thing to do is to remain calm, try to keep your heart rate low. If you have coverage, great. Get a life flight coming. If you don't have coverage, your partner, if you're hunting with somebody, hike up to somewhere with service, give GPS coordinates or whatever. Yeah. Get life flight on the way. You should be fine. Yeah. But my buddy, he's really, really into snakes. He has like a ton of venomous snakes. That's like his thing. I asked him if a snake could like penetrate through a boot and apply venom, and he said basically no. So if you do want to hunt in September, I know a lot of guys that do the over-the-counter Arizona deer tag only hunt January and December because it's a hot in September and the snakes. If you do want to go, maybe just wear taller boots or chaps, I wouldn't let it deter you from hunting, because when you hunt in January, there's a lot of other guys out there hunting. When you hunt in September, nobody hunts.
For sure.
So you have like all these great deer all to yourself.
And you're hunting rut in December, late December, January. You're still hunting the rut, so.
And we're hunting bucks that are in groups of just bucks. We're seeing
4 or 5 bucks
exactly.
in one group.
Exactly.
It's like if you go on a stalk, if you go close to any of them and you're fine with just, taking the meat, you got a way better chance, versus trying to go in on
10 does one buck.
Exactly. Yeah.
So. And that buck's going to do whatever those does do. In this case, like you said, I mean, heck, you're going in on $5.
Yeah, for sure.
Or one if you're lucky. So I think September's great. I think it's neglected by a lot of people in Arizona, and I wouldn't let snakes scare you. It is going to be hot. One thing I will say is, if you're going to camp, like we were tent camping the prior year when I got my buck, I was camping in the back of the truck. And that year there was a lot of monsoons, but the one thing I will say is, when you camp in that kind of heat, it is a little rough on your gear, so just, realize that ahead of time. Like the heat's rough on your binos and your string wax or whatever, your chapstick, sure. all your stuff's melted, so it's just like, it is a little rough on your stuff. But if you have an RV with AC or whatever, then you can keep your stuff in there. Yeah. But I certainly think it's a good hunt.
For sure, yeah. It is a good hunt. Yeah. And I see why people don't want to do it, because it is hot.
It is.
Why, especially out there in Arizona, it gets,
It's almost 100 degrees every day.
For sure.
Like, if not over 100 degrees, And, I mean, you guys probably have seen, we crossed that flash flood in the Subaru.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because that video was early on before the channel was like big. I probably had like 50 subscribers when we put that out at the most. And
yeah, the channel literally just started.
Everyone's still like, I'll run into people at church or something. They'll be like, I can't believe you drove across that flash flood. Like, I have more people talk to me about that video than like any of the others, and it only has like 150 views. Like, you know what I mean? But that was stupid. Like, we shouldn't have done that. And I think once we started, like, because we got in the water, and you guys can go watch the video. We get in the water, and I would say about halfway through, both of us felt the car just start going.
Yeah.
And we're
That's
like,
one thing you don't see in the video either.
Yeah, you can't see it.
You can't see it. Yeah,
Yeah.
the video actually doesn't do any justice.
No,
at all.
it was
Like,
gnarly.
People can see the flash flood
Yeah.
prior to us driving through
Yeah.
it and go like, damn,
Wow,
that's
yeah.
that's going
Yeah.
through there pretty good. But what we felt and what you see
Oh.
on video is way different.
It was
'Cause when
gnarly.
we got across, I was like, I honestly thought we weren't going to.
I didn't think we were going to make it. I mean, at one point, I was stoked we made it. In hindsight, you should have filmed it, either held the camera a bit higher so you see the water on the hood, because the water went all the way up on the hood. You couldn't see that in the video.
Yeah.
Or we should have just opened the window and had you hold it outside, dude.
Yeah.
In hindsight,
I probably dropped it
in the water, yeah. He did break a lens, so.
I didn't break a lens, yeah.
But yeah, that's a good hunt. And then overall, like, I also think it's important to talk about like safety as far as like weather goes. Obviously, on a hunt like that, the main thing you're probably concerned with is drinking tons of water. Make sure you don't get heat stroke or
exhaustion, yeah.
or dehydration. Like that's your risk there mostly. But then, I've told the story before on the channel, like you could also be hunting in Montana where there's 3 feet of fresh snow, grizzly bears, it's really cold.
Yeah.
It's bad if you have to stay out overnight there with nothing, So it's like, what do you think, like, coming into hunting, what are some things that make you feel comfortable enough to go out on your own and be like, okay, if something happens, I feel like I can handle it?
As in, like, what?
Like, do you have say you go out on a hike and it's snowy or whatever, and you break your ankle a mile or two away. Yeah. What are some things that
I'm just
like,
gonna throw in the towel? I'm just gonna die right there.
Do you like pre-plan at all? Like, do you have, like, for me, I've talked about it before. I have an old school GPS, like a Garmin GPS.
No.
I have a compass, and I have my phone with Onyx. So like the easiest to use is Onyx, so I'll mark my stuff. But I always do the backup with this is if I'm hunting like real remote. The old school GPS is good because, like, unlike your phone, it's not going to run out of battery.
You don't got to worry about service.
You don't got to worry about service. So I think it's good to have multiple things. Are you kind of that same way? Like,
yeah.
But you haven't really
I got
hunted,
my phone and that's it.
But you haven't hunted like anywhere like too remote
For
yet.
sure, yeah.
When you do, I imagine.
That's what I'm saying. I'd probably just die out there.
Oh gosh! Don't be like this guy. Be like me.
No, Chelsea even says, she's like, when you go hunt solo, like, we got to get you some type of GPS or something. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I mean, which I should.
Yeah.
I mean, which
And
I
cheap,
will
too.
if I go solo. I would get a GPS
Yeah.
just for
Well, and it depends too. Like if you're hunting somewhere where it's like you're not that far from stuff or whatever, that's different. But if you're in, say, I don't know, Colorado or something, you're way out in these mountains, nobody's around, no service, like.
Well, then it's a game changer.
Exactly.
You have to be prepared.
The
to
key
have
is just
that type
being
of stuff,
prepared.
yeah.
Exactly.
See, I've never been in a situation where I actually
like-
needed that
yeah.
yet, so that's why I don't
Yeah.
have it. But if I knew I was in a remote situation,
Yeah.
I would have everything that I need to make sure that, hey, if you didn't hear from me tonight, you should probably come looking for me.
Yeah, yeah,
This
yeah.
is where this GPS is going to mark where you're at. They'll find you.
Exactly.
Versus.
Yeah, it's just good. It's just good to be prepared and have multiple things because at the end of the day, your phone could break, your GPS could break, you fall or something. That's why, like, you should have a compass. And know a little bit about like astrology. Know a little bit, like, okay, that's the North Star, or like, oh, the sun rises at, if you have to stay the night. Okay, well, I know that's east. Like, it's good to just have basic outdoorsman skills.
For sure, yeah. I agree. Yeah.
If you're gonna hunt, like, stuff can happen. I mean,
Yeah.
it can definitely happen.
Absolutely, yeah. And yeah, have a game plan, you know.
Exactly.
Communication's key too, you know.
Exactly.
Before you go on a hunt, hey, this is where I'm going to be, this is where I'm going.
Yep.
Maybe try, if you're in a remote area, maybe just stick to that.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know, don't try
to go
push,
too
don't try and go
far.
out far that, yeah, because then you
Exactly.
might screw yourself, because then you got 2 hours till dark. Well, I'm going to get up on this. Well, now it's dark, and you're going, crap.
I know. Yeah,
I'm much further away than I thought I was.
and that's not a good spot to be.
For sure.
You know, and you just never know. I mean, when you're hiking around, like, you could break an ankle or a leg or tear your knee. You just never know. I mean, it's like hunting is, there's so much that could happen. You're out in the elements. Basically, you're like a wild animal.
You're in the
for
wild,
a while.
yeah.
You know what I mean? You're not in your comfortable apartment or whatever. Like, this is different. You're in the elements,
For
like,
sure,
you
yeah.
know, and you just got to be prepared, whether that's clothing or whatever, because heck, if it's really cold and you don't have enough clothes and you can't get back to camp for some reason, you better have a way to start a fire.
You're going to die, yeah.
You know, you better have some warm clothes,
For
like,
sure, yeah.
or just all night walk back and forth, keep your body temp up.
Yeah.
You know, there's all sorts of different things, but again, it's about being prepared. Looking on YouTube, if you don't know anything about survival, like, it's good to know some stuff. You know, hopefully you never have to use it. But
YouTube's awesome.
dude, everything you want to fix on YouTube, you can fix. Like,
If you want to change out your radio, just go on YouTube.
well, I just bought the Chevy Volt, and I love the Volt. Great car. It's so cheap to drive. One day I come home, go to plug it in, and, you know, I just bought it. Just dropped 10 grand on this car. I plug it in, and right as I plug it in, it goes pop, and smoke comes out, and I was like, that just like ruined my car. Did the battery blow up or what? You know,
read the directions on
so I was like, dude, this is not good. Like, you know, so I of course dive onto YouTube, dive onto Google. I can't find anything that like describes what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, I find this one dude's YouTube video. It has like 500 views. That was it. And he said, okay, so I got home, I plugged my car in, it popped, smoke came out. I was like, okay, this is my issue, you know? And he said, all it is the charging port. You need a new charging port. So I said, okay, I ordered a new charging port, put it in, boom, car's good to go,
Right
you know?
on,
So, like, anything you want to fix on YouTube is there.
Mhm.
You know, you want to learn how to be a better bow shooter. There's guys giving good tips on there,
Yeah, for sure.
you know?
Yes, sir.
Anything else we want to cover on this piece? I
We
can
can-
cut all
we
this
can-
shit
yeah,
out.
we can cut all this shit
Yeah.
out.
We're about 14 minutes in.
Yeah, maybe you could go just like back to the elements about not even like favorite, but you know,
Yeah, because we're going to
so
cover
we
that
can
in
cut
the-
out the YouTube like right after the YouTube shit.
Yeah,
you know,
cut and then come into something else.
And yeah, you can almost go, you know, back on the elements. You know, talking about remote areas, Montana, you know, whatever, cold. I don't know. I guess we could talk about that. But no, we can cover that
In the question.
in the Q&A. Yeah. for
Anything?
sure.
Anything else?
We probably don't want to end with YouTube. In the Volt.
That's a cool story. That kind of. I think it's kind of cool. All right.
Or fuck it, we do end it.
Well, I got a good one. All right, here we go. Okay, so obviously we've been friends for a while. You know, I have a bird dog, Reagan, German short hair, and I had one before. Like, people ask me all the time, is he a hunting dog? I say, well, he is a hunting breed, but I don't bird hunt, like, except turkeys. He's not gonna retrieve a turkey for me, you know.
No.
He's almost big enough to, but he ain't gonna retrieve a turkey. So for whatever reason, I've just like dove hunting or whatever, or like quail hunting. It's just never interested me that much. I don't know why. I just really enjoy bow hunting. I suppose I could hunt them with a bow, but it's just like I don't get stoked on that. Are you kind of the same way, or are you into hunting kind of whatever, whether it's birds or?
No, I've never. I don't know. I guess I'm kind of the same thing. I've never really been into bird hunting. Like people like, hey, you know, you want to come out here? We're going out for season opener. You know, out in Yuma, you know, wherever you want to come. And
Yeah. See.
not really, because at that point, That's season opener of deer season.
Exactly, and I'd much rather go have a bow in hand and
for sure,
see some bucks. But
no, I've never gotten into the whole bird thing.
I don't know.
Maybe
why.
I probably would like goose hunt or duck hunt.
Yeah.
Obviously, if I was like back on the farm or something
Yeah.
like that, and I would probably do it. I don't know, to go out of my way here to do it, probably not.
Okay.
I just stick to I don't know. I stick to what I like. I feel like, which I heard is delicious. You wrap the what is it, quail and bacon or dove and bacon.
Yeah.
I heard it's delicious.
It is good eating.
But
I
to me,
don't
it
know
seems like
why.
a lot of work
For such little amount of
Yeah,
meat. It's just
sure.
I don't know what it is. I just have no. I'm the same way. I'll have dudes all the time. Dude, let's go out for opening weekend. I'm just like, I'm good.
Yeah.
I just I don't know what it is. I have no. I don't want to do that.
Sure, yeah. I'm just gonna watch TV.
Have you put in to hunt any out of states this year or like what?
I haven't. No, not yet.
But you might put in for Colorado. Right?
Colorado, yeah, I might put in for Colorado.
Nice.
We'll see, and then this year. I mean,
Obviously Utah.
Utah, yeah. There I'm gonna have to, I guess, because I'm still so new there. Within that 6 months, and that 6 months falls within that deadline for applying. I'm still not a resident. You gotta be resident for 6 months. So, if anything, I'll just pick up maybe something that's like leftover or over the counter. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll probably join us when we're out there elk hunting in September.
Yeah.
Unless we draw New Mexico, which probably won't happen. So
for sure, yeah.
I'm excited. I've never hunted Utah, so I'm excited to cross another state off my list. Like,
absolutely. Yeah.
One of my goals, I
think
want
you guys will love it.
I want to hunt a bunch of states. It's always been one of my goals, and so far I've hunted. Let's see, California, New Mexico, Arizona, Montana. So I've only hunted 4 states, but this year I'm gonna, if things go well, I'm gonna add 2 more. I'm gonna add Colorado and Utah hopefully.
For sure, yeah.
I won't for sure draw the Colorado. It's 50-50, but I feel good about it. Yeah. And then Utah is over the counter. So and it's cheap, man. Shout out to Utah. It's only an elk for a license is $65. Yeah. Tag's only like $350. Yeah. Arizona, the license is like $125, and the elk tag's like $900.
For sure, yeah.
And that's the same with New Mexico or wherever. So I think that's cool that it's that affordable for non-residents. Yeah. And for a resident, I'm sure it's like $20 for a tag.
I sure hope so.
Yeah, I mean, that's how it is in Arizona, man. It's like. It's crazy. My elk tag, like I said, is $800-900. Yeah. For residents, like $70 or something. It's like way less.
For sure, yeah.
But that's good.
If you're that's good
for
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's also easier to
make their money.
And it's also easier to get drawn for tags if you're a resident, which I think that's fine. I think residents should get the benefit of that. I don't have an issue with that. All right, guys, so we've been talking for about an hour now, and we're going to close out with, we have 5 questions. We're each going to answer every question. So we're going to go ahead and start off with the first one, which is favorite animal.
Well, obviously a dog would be on that list,
Heck yeah.
Let's go household and let's go wild.
Okay, all right.
So, yeah, I would have to go with Tito, which is mine and Chelsea's little Chihuahua. Yeah. That's my baby boy. We got 2 big pits, and she has another dog, Jasper.
Yeah.
Tito's my favorite. He's cool.
It's about this
big. Yeah. He's cool, though.
He is cool.
Favorite wild animal? I've told you before. I'd have to go with whitetail. I think it's just growing up there in northern Minnesota. It's just something that's always intrigued me, Whitetail, I mean, I've seen them growing up, stuff like that. Mule deer I didn't see until we started going hunting. So yeah, I would probably have to say that northern big brute whitetail.
Saskatchewan whitetail.
Yeah. That would be a good hunt right there. So what about you? If you gotta pick
dog for sure, easy money.
Reggie boy.
Reagan, my boy Reagan, Cody, my last dog. I just love pointers. I love dogs, but pointers specifically. Yeah. For wild animal, mule deer is always my favorite. It's not going to surprise anybody. Yeah. If I had to throw a second, I've always loved bighorn sheep. And I have like 12 points in Arizona, and I still have like .01 draw odd.
So you got like 50 points to go.
I'll eventually draw it when I'm like 60. Or luckily I started when I was very young putting in.
For sure,
but
that's something I wouldn't even,
Yeah, it'd be a dream of mine to hunt a bighorn sheep, and maybe one day I'll get that opportunity. So
that being said, what would be your dream hunt?
Dream hunt, probably bighorn sheep.
Yeah.
You know, and I would draw it. I think there's only rifle tags, but I would try it with my bow. You know.
So you going after like Rocky Mountain bighorn,
Or desert, any of them.
Doll sheep, just
Yeah.
anything in that big.
Yeah,
You know,
any sheep. I just think they're really cool, and
Yeah.
they're so hard to get an opportunity to hunt. So
and they're massive.
they're so
Those
cool.
things are packed full of shit.
Yeah, exactly. So I would try it with a bow. Say the season was 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I'd try it with a bow for the first 10 days,
For
and then
sure,
you know I wouldn't be scared to break out the rifle to fill the tag if I had to. But ultimately, bighorn sheep with a bow would be my top.
yeah.
What about you?
Oh, that'd be such a tough hunt.
Oh, I
man.
know.
That'd be such a tough hunt.
You got to be ready for some pokes on that one, some longer
Yeah,
shots,
for
probably.
sure. Yeah.
You know, but I'll be ready.
For me, a dream hunt. I know we talked a lot before. I've always been interested in caribou. I think caribou,
Yes.
you know, you got so much meat. It's such a cool looking animal. You know, up there in Alaska.
Yes.
I think that'd be cool. That
Yeah.
or moose.
Yeah.
That would also be a dream hunt. So it's kind of hard.
Moose is up there
Yeah,
for me
I
too.
think.
Yeah.
I think moose would probably be top one dream
Yeah,
hunt.
like a
yeah.
Yukon moose.
For sure,
Just
yeah.
massive. Yeah, super cool.
Yeah.
What would be like the furthest shot you would take on an animal with the bow? Like, what are you comfortable with distance wise on a shot?
To be honest, I probably wouldn't shoot over 50 yards.
So 50 and under.
I'd probably shoot 15 under.
Yeah.
I don't shoot my bow that much anymore. I know when I do pick it up, it comes, you know, it's just like second nature. It comes back pretty quick. I got, you know, bad shoulder. I'm still working on that. So I do have a little bit of trouble settling that pin. I know that comes with, you know, just putting in more work too. So I'm still working on that. I would say 50 yards is the farthest shot I would take right now, just because I want to make sure it's effective. And I know at 50 I'm effective, and even at 60 I'm still on that paper plate, but I don't like that.
Yeah.
You know,
just
like we've been
not as
shooting before, and at
confident.
50, you know, I'm going, you know, there, and then at 60 I'm kind of
Yeah, spreading.
I'm spreading them out a little bit. So, that being said, yeah, if I did have a massive buck at 60, 65 yards, I wouldn't shoot him
Yeah.
because I don't feel comfortable doing that.
And that's a respect thing too. You don't
For sure,
want to
yeah.
harm that animal and
No, for
wing
sure,
him
yeah.
or gut shoot him, and yeah, it's just not worth it.
Yeah,
So I'm
so-
with you on that.
40 yards, actually, like I love a 40-yard shot.
Yeah.
20 to 4. I mean, that would be ideal. 50, I could reach out to 50. But yeah, just at that point, if I couldn't get any closer, I'd probably just, you know, throw in the towel or just try and get closer. Or
Mhm.
they ran off. It is what it is.
It
you
is,
know.
yeah,
I just got that all comes back on me putting the work in.
Exactly.
So if I want to be able to shoot 60, 70 yards, 80 yards, I got to put a lot of work in. You know, I may need to take a step back from, you know, working so much and put just that extra 30 minutes a day, you know,
Yeah, into shooting.
into shooting.
For sure.
So, what about you?
Well, you know, I've talked about this a little bit before. You know, I've been pretty fortunate to shoot a lot of big game animals with a bow, and only 3 have been over 60. Most, I would say, have been under 40. You know, I get pretty tight, but my longest shot ever was 76 yards. And it really, for me, is condition based. Like, I know if I'm practicing, you know, I can shoot a 3-inch group at 100 yards, but I never want to shoot that far in the field unless it's like a follow-up shot.
Yeah.
You know, but it really depends. I mean, if I had, say, if I had a bull elk at 90 yards and it was flat ground, no wind, he was standing there broadside, I'd probably do it, you know, because I know I can. I can put the shot on the money, but my goal is I want to get as close as possible. The only reason I took the 76-yard shot that one time was because I had ran out of coverage. He was broadside. He saw me, and it was that. I could not get any. I couldn't buy another yard. It was
For
it.
sure,
You
yeah.
know, that was it. So I don't know. It's case to case. My goal is always to get under 60 yards. I never want to have to slide my sight. Like I said, I've only done it once where I actually used my slider in a field.
Yeah.
In the field. So I don't know, man.
And it probably comes down to size of the animal too. Obviously,
Of course,
if you're shooting at a moose, you got vitals that are
of course, you know.
massive, you know, versus if
Exactly.
you're shooting at, you know, a small buck.
Exactly. Like a
That's probably where.
like a coos deer, I'm never taking a 90-yard shot. On an
Coos
elk,
deer, I'd probably take a 30-yard
exactly.
shot.
On an elk, I'm saying maybe I would if the conditions were good. It's
Yeah.
very condition based, you know, and
Yeah.
and you know, we've talked about this a bunch. Bruce and I talk about it. Travis and I talk about it. It's kind of a recurring theme on these talks. But like, I just am not a fan of these long shots. You know, it's like a lot of guys that take them too aren't really that good as shooters. So it's like Jim Burnworth will take these long shots, but he's an excellent shooter. You know, it's like he can kind of do it so more responsibly. So that's what, to me, it's just comes down to being responsible and respectful to the animal. So I guess for me, I'd say my goal is to get under 60 for sure. If I had to, I would stretch out a little further, but it varies so much on conditions. Like if it's windy, I'm not shooting beyond 30. Like if it's super windy, you know. Just depends. My goal is always to get as close as possible, though, to answer the question.
My ultimate goal is 20 yards every time.
Of course, you know, or under. You know, I've shot a javelina this past year at 9 yards. I've shot a javelina at like 3 feet one time. I've shot a lot of stuff under 20, so it's possible. That's the thing I tell people too. It's like, rather than shoot further, why don't you just get better at hunting and get closer? Like, you know, so, or sit longer, you know, become better at sitting and wait for the animal to come to you. Like, I think there's options. You don't have to huck shots, I don't think.
For sure, yeah, I've passed up.
Yeah, you've passed a bunch of shots because they were out of your comfort zone.
Or there was like, you know, a doe cutting this off, you know, or whatever, so. That's
actually a good story. Why don't you, as we're wrapping this up, tell that story about the water hole.
So that was a nice buck. Yeah.
This right here is what really, because we were. This was the first hunt we ever did, second hunt we ever did together, really. But this move that he's about to tell like made me respect this dude like a ton as a hunter, because this is the stuff I think everybody should do. But why don't you go ahead and tell the story?
So the nice, you know, there was so much deer activity going on. We should have talked about that massive buck. You know.
True.
Anyways, this buck that came in, real nice buck, came in with the doe. So they came in. I believe he was on the outside, she was on the inside. So they came in. The guy I was sitting in the blind with, we already, you know, talked about. He was after
that big buck, monster buck.
So, I told him, you want to shoot her, you know, whatever.
And it was a nice buck. It was a 4x4, right?
It was a really nice buck, And so the doe was cutting him off, so I was waiting. And I did have a chance to probably sneak a shot in there, but I was like, you know,
they were like this basically, like
exactly.
So
and there wasn't much to sneak a shot in there.
Yeah.
And you know, thought about it, and I was like, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to wait for her to peel out, or I'm going to wait for.
And this is only like 30 yards, right?
It's 30 yards
exactly. So.
There's a chip shot.
Yeah, a chip shot. But again, you don't want to wing that doe or shoot too
near, for sure. Yeah.
Or hit the buck bad because you held too high.
Exactly.
It's just not worth the risk.
Yeah. So I you know, passed that up.
That's awesome, man.
And
I love that.
Yeah.
Cool buck. That's as cool as it gets, man. I mean,
super like white corn, super like gray.
I saw the same.
He was just a cool buck.
I saw that same buck a couple times. I had him one time. I was stalking in on that big one like a couple weeks. I came back out, went hunting, and stalking it on that big one, and I was like right on top of a bluff. I looked, that buck was right below me, like 30, 40 yards. But he was covered by a bunch of branches. I wasn't going to shoot him anyway, so I was really after that one. But that man, wow, there was a lot of deer. You know, that was
that one day. It was crazy.
Dude, I remember because you guys were sitting in the water hole, and I'm glassing from a long ways away, just kind of seeing the action. And I remember I looked, nothing there. Look back, look through my binos, and I swear there was like 15 deer. Like it looked like they were right next to your blind, and I was like, whoa! And there's big bucks everywhere. Sure, dude, crazy. Cool, yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah,
can't buy stuff like that. So when you're in the blind all day, give me 3 snacks you gotta have.
As bad as it sounds, because it's so crunchy, those crunch bars, they're like a protein crunch bar.
Yeah, Power Crunch, right?
Power Crunch, I love those. Yeah. Beef jerky, I gotta have that.
Great.
Ooh, let's see. Where's 2? I don't know, a third one.
It's a lot of pressure.
This is a lot of pressure right now.
I'll answer while you think of your third.
I mean, a fruit snack probably would be nice.
Boom,
but
there
it's
you
not
go.
something I always carry on me. If anything, I'm stealing.
I'm going fruit snack, corn nuts, and like a protein bar or jerky, something like high protein. But
you know what?
I gotta have fruit snacks, dude. If I had to choose one, it's fruit snacks.
I should probably go with corn nuts because I stole a bunch of yours on the
corn nuts. Oh, dude, the original or the ranch?
The ranch.
Fire. I love them. Yeah, good stuff, man. And then lastly, favorite weather to hunt in. Almost dropped it. I have cat-like reflexes, so it's fine. But favorite,
you drop stuff.
I drop. Yeah, I'm notorious for spilling. It's very true. Favorite weather to hunt in.
Favorite weather to hunt in would be about 62 degrees, good wind. That never happens.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Honestly, the last time I was back in Minnesota, it was super cold. I didn't mind. It's like, we go through like Arizona, it's super hot, sweating your ass off. And you go back there where you're not sweating at all. You're sitting in a blind and it's super cold. And, you got little pocket warmers in. And favorite weather to hunt in? The snow was cool. Yeah, I would say a lot of that was because I was hunting back there with my brother, So I think, a lot of that was, we were walking in together. He was sitting in a different blind. I was sitting in another one, we're, kind of playing out the elements the whole time. Sometimes that cold wind is right in your face. Sometimes at your back. So I don't know. I did like hunting the snow.
The snow's nice, yeah.
But I would still have to say desert. Desert's fun.
And terrain, yeah.
Terrain-wise, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a little easier, a little bit more open.
In some ways,
it's not easier like
it's just
heat-wise, but like here you got sagebrush everywhere, so you're not stalking in sagebrush.
No. You sit basically. Your choices are to sit.
So,
I get asked all the time, like, what's the best way to hunt D16? I say, sit, tree stand, blind, whatever. It depends case to case. Yeah. For me, my favorite weather, I really like hunting in high wind storms.
Yeah.
I like it to be still while I find the deer and then have a big storm roll in, like, for example, when I shot that buck when you were with me, part of the reason I went out there, I don't often stalk in the evening, and you had actually just asked me, do you ever actually go stalk in the evening? I said, not really. Sometimes, but it has to be right.
Yeah.
Right when I glassed that buck up, a monsoon started blowing in straight in my face. I was like, it's too good not to. So, I love that, the high pressure winds.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. I
remember that too. You glassed them up and you came over and you go, should I go stop? Because it was getting dark. You're like, should I go stop them? I was like, dude, go. Yeah.
And that's why I ran, full speed. And that, in the beginning of this, we talked about how, you were learning how to change your speed from fast to slow or fast to slow. That just goes to show me, I knew, because I've been hunting a long time with the bow, I knew, I got to get on it, full speed, Newer guy probably wouldn't have known that. They probably would have gone slow and the whole time, or too fast at the end, or it's just like you learn that with time.
For sure, yeah.
But that was a cool hunt, man. It was pretty cool to call you and be like, hey, we got a buck. 'Cause we'd hunted hard. That was day 6 or 7 probably. Yeah. And what a cool hunt, man.
I mean, a nice meal at Chili's the next day.
Chili's, yes, that's right. So. Yeah. Cool, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on here.
Yes, sir.
Talking to me. We'll do it again. There we go. So anyways, it was good talking to the legend himself. Well, he's not Ted, but we got Nick Coleman.
The pleasure was all
the next best thing. Yep. So thanks, guys, for watching. And what do you think? You got anything you want to say?
I'd like to get sponsored by Miller Lite.
Yeah. So,
drink enough of your beer, sponsor me.
Yeah. So, thanks for watching. Throw a like, subscribe, comment, whatever you want. Don't matter really that much. And I was gonna say something. Oh, geez, I forgot. So we'll close it on that. I forgot. Thanks.